Hello everyone. Today we record another session on the essence of life, a topic we have never truly understood before. It is an inward matter, not an outward one. We are constantly seeking things externally. But have you ever noticed? We never truly look within. We do not even know our inner selves. Do you know what lies deepest within us? It is the essence of life, formless, empty, clear, and profoundly pure. It is an essence of utmost clarity, a pure origin, the foundation of all things, the clearest and most pristine elemental essence that is the foundation of everything. It is as if asking, where does the origin of a tree come from? It comes from the soil. The soil is the source of all things. Living beings arise from the soil. All trees come from the soil. Then they age, break down, and return to the soil. The bodies of humans and animals also come from the soil, then age, disintegrate, and return to the soil. Using this analogy, let us go further, delve deeper. Where do all the stars, the suns, the black holes, essentially the galaxies, the universe, all the stars, originate from? Before all things existed, there was one natural essence that preceded everything, known as the primordial element. I want to share with you that this primordial element has no form. It is clear, pure, and utterly empty. Within this clarity, where nothing yet existed, imagine erasing the entire universe. Every speck of dust, star, sun, black hole, darkness, and light, erase it all. What remains is this primordial element, profoundly clear. This element is clear because it contains neither darkness nor light. It is pure, unblemished, and empty, completely empty, if we must use the term emptiness. Yet it is something. It has substance. It is the very substance of clarity, the purest and most pristine element. This is the essence of life. We are one and the same with all of it. We began from that very point. At that point, there was an explosion, what we call the Big Bang. It gave rise to energy and particles of matter, fragments of dust. That is where our essence of life emerged. The essence of life was impacted, and when impacted, it transformed at the surface of its very substance. Imagine a clear droplet of water. It has a surface tension, right? The clear water has substance, doesn't it? The edge of that water has surface tension. When something interacts with it, it can sense the impact and produce ripples. That is precisely how our essence of life, empty, clear, and pure, behaves. It is just like that. When impacted by that explosion, stars emerged and formed into stars and the sun. That was the very first era when the first star was born. At that point, the temperature was suitable, and our life elements have been affected since then. They began to perceive something, like when we're under anesthesia. Imagine we were given anesthesia and slept deeply for 3 days. Where did we go during that time? At that time, there were no feelings left at all, right? There was no perception, no thoughts. This speaking voice didn't exist. The mental images we're thinking of didn't exist. No emotions. What we're perceiving now wasn't there, and we weren't perceiving anything. But there was life. The life element resided in this mass. This is an analogy to show that our life element resides in this vessel of the body. But it was disconnected from everything. Our life still existed. This means that our life element is not related to the physical body, right? Our life element will run to find a new body, always ready to be born, sometimes obtaining bodies of aquatic animals, land animals, winged animals, whatever it may be. And then it starts anew. Do you understand this part? The life element is an immortal element that neither comes nor goes, neither births nor dies. This life element blends with all things. It's a clear element that blends with everything. It's an emptiness that is pure essence. This elemental essence is extremely pure. It's the primary element. All things reside in this clear, empty element. The universe resides in this clear emptiness. The sun resides in this clarity. Darkness and light reside in this clear emptiness. This is what we are, this element called the life element. Let's imagine if we return to the life element that has no form, no stories, no body to rely on, no one, nothing. There's only the extremely pure life element, completely free from suffering, only purity. Do we understand what purity means? Purity, it's beyond the word happiness. It's beyond having happiness. It transcends happiness until only pure purity remains. That's what we are, this element. I no longer have doubts. I stepped back to see it. When I saw it, when I realized it, it could explosively break apart. It broke free from being human. It completely broke free. The life element broke free. Now as I speak, there remains no feeling of being human, yet it continues to function just like this. This body mass still feels cold and hot. Thoughts are the same. It speaks the same way. It thinks. It has emotions. It likes and dislikes. It knows things just the same, all these conditions. But all of this is not us. There is a knowledge that has broken free and clearly realizes that we are not this body mass. This vessel is not us. This speaking voice is not us. Mental images, emotions, the state of knowing, none of these are us. These things are natural phenomena that function on their own, speaking on their own. This is it. When we break free, we will be liberated like escaping from a cage. If this body is a cage, we emerge from it. This voice is a cage. The mental images we think are cages. Emotions are cages. Perception is a cage. If we can emerge from the cage of all these things, we won't be anything anymore. Free, blending with all things. Inside, it's extremely pure. When this body stops functioning, it will be peaceful. While this body still breathes and functions, it will come to proclaim this knowledge for everyone to see. The most mysterious knowledge that none of us have ever known, seen, or been taught in this world. Let me explain this to you all clearly now. Everyone should share this recording of mine. Spread it for everyone in this world to hear. Even children can listen to all of it. If you're a teacher, play it for your students. If you're parents, play it for your children and grandchildren. Play it loud throughout the house. Spread it for this whole world to hear, whether they are children, elderly, disabled, women, men, all genders, all ages, all classes, all statuses, all religions, all doctrines, all races, all ethnicities, all countries can listen. There is no discrimination whatsoever. I want to create world peace for all of us. If we come to realize the core of life, the life element, which is our primordial element, we will love and unite in harmony, helping and supporting each other completely. There will be no discrimination, no quarrels, no I am good, I am skilled, I am superior, I must win, I will take everything. There will be no boasting or showing off at all, because there is nothing that is us. Do you know that this voice also comes from the primordial element? The body also comes from the primordial element. Let's say the entire universe comes from the primordial element. We are that primordial element of the same essence as the universe, the element that is clear emptiness, that has nothing. We are all of the same essence. Everything comes from our life element, all of it. I'm telling you this way. Want to know? Come prove it against the current. Come learn within. Don't learn outside. Come learn within. This subject no one has taught us, right? Let's study this subject, and let's put this subject into the curriculum. Play my recording for everyone to hear. And when everyone comes to realize this element, everyone will know that everything is like a dream. Nothing truly has a self. This body is temporary, a temporary residence. Soon, this body will disintegrate. This voice is temporary. The mental images we think are temporary. Emotions are temporary. This knowing is a temporary condition. This hearing of sound. No need to intentionally hear, see. It hears by itself, can you see? Just observe this speaking voice. What's thinking in the mind? Thinking this thought, that thought, what's speaking now? Whether speaking through the mouth or speaking inside the mind, this voice, try to observe it. It speaks by itself, thinks by itself, has emotions by itself, and it perceives by itself too. It hears sounds by itself, smells by itself, sees by itself, tastes by itself, feels touch by itself, must see this. Just observe that it's not us. It knows by itself, thinks by itself, observe carefully. It has emotions by itself, and then it dissolves by itself. Just observe. If we see that these things are not ours, then there is no suffering. What is there to suffer about when there remains no us at all? Try erasing this body away. Try erasing this voice away. Erase the mental images we think, erase them away. Erase all emotions completely. Erase this state of knowing too. What remains? Even erase the memory that we are human. What remains? Only the clear, empty life element will remain, extremely pure. Only this element will remain. This is the method for us to step back to know within, by seeing that these manifestations are not us. Must see that they function by themselves. It's like the wind that blows and passes by itself. Whenever you can see that nothing is us, this speaking here is not us speaking, this knowing here is not us knowing. It knows by itself, must see this. Whoever can see this, tears will flow. It will be light and free. It will break free. The more you listen to my recording, listen, not more than 7 days, 7 months. It's easy. Many people listen to my recording for just 1 day and break free immediately, tears falling. Those who take longer, it's fine. Whether it takes long or short time, never mind. Listen for a moment and tears fall, break free immediately, realize immediately, all doubts gone completely. That's good, but must continue listening. Those who haven't realized, haven't become clear, keep listening. Incline your mind to listen, keep clinging to my voice, cling deeper inside, understand, follow along. Understand, keep following along, no need to think, no need to remember, just follow along. Cling to the voice, follow with understanding, understand, until our clear, empty, pure life element accepts this knowledge. When the life element accepts the truth that, oh, we are this life element, why do we rely on these things? It will break free immediately. It will no longer rely on them. They will exist separately. All manifestations continue their functions, the body continues its work, this voice, mental images, emotions, the state of knowing, they all do their work. While the life element separates independently, remaining pure and clear on its own, filled with complete knowledge. We will have tears flowing, feeling utterly light and free. When it breaks free, it will be like being yanked out of being human. Just sitting here eating, when putting food in the mouth, who knows this? Who knows this delicious taste? Who is knowing? When putting food in the mouth, knowing arises, and it sees that this knowing is not us knowing. At that moment, it's like we're yanked out. We're sitting here and we're yanked out immediately. We become the clear, empty element that blends with the infinite universe. This point is extremely profound, must reach it. It's simple, just observe. Everyone can reach it, from children to the elderly. Listen to my recording a lot. It will be very easy to reach, especially children. They grasp the principle just a little, and they will break free immediately. Then there will be no more suffering. The wisdom will be excellent too, will be one who understands everything in this world and will not suffer. There will be only lightness, relief, and there's no reason to harm, quarrel, or hate each other because nothing is us. There will only be smiles for each other and just talking about, how are you? Have you listened to the recording yet? So light. How are you? Some say, I listened for 3 days, my tears fell, I feel light, I feel relieved. Each person tells their story to others, talking only about lightness, relief, talking only about how we are the pure element, we are so marvelous. Seeing this, seeing that, knowing everything. Once it breaks free, it knows everything, even knows what we were born as before. This is just an example. Some people will develop special abilities to see and know many things, but treat them merely as toys. But all of this is just manifestations, rippling as sound, as images, as emotions, as the state of knowing, as before. Whatever happens, no matter how marvelous it is, don't cling to being anything. Never cling to being anything. After breaking free with all these marvels, don't assume that we are God, deity, or anything. We are not anything at all. We are the life element, empty, clear, pure, that is not anything at all. We'll live in this world without suffering anymore, not being anything anymore. When the body ages, there's no suffering. When the body is sick, has accidents or whatever, severe injuries, high fever, severe illness, heavy coughing, cancer, whatever it may be, there will be no suffering in any way. But all the pain and aches exist just the same. How were we before? After breaking free, everything will be the same. But there's no suffering anymore. There is one nature, it has separated. We know this voice is not us. Whatever happens to this body, it's not us. Mental images, emotions, whatever kind of emotions, they're not our emotions. When it's angry, it's not our emotion. When it's happy or sad, they're not our emotions. This knowing here, hearing this voice, it's not us. When putting food in the mouth, it knows the taste. It's delicious. Everything is the same, but it will see that this deliciousness is not us being delicious. This knowing is not us knowing. These are just manifestations. It will be completely separate like this. I will understand. It is knowledge that is not the kind of knowledge humans understand, but it is knowledge more refined than that. Let me explain one thing. We are the life element, empty, clear, pure, the original element. This is our origin point. We are this element. We must come to know our primordial element. We have studied external subjects all our life already. Enough. Let's study the inner subject now. Whoever studies this inner subject and succeeds, passes the test, when realized, it's finished. We will know that we have nothing left to do in this world. When this body disintegrates and dies, we will not return to birth again. This will be our last life, and it is something extremely profound. We will want to proclaim to this world to come to understand their own life element. Then we will not harm each other. We will live together helping and supporting each other because nothing is us. There is only wanting to share so everyone can be free from suffering. Come listen, come understand your own life element, and there will be no more suffering, and there will be no harming each other either. It's like this. Each day there is only lightness, relief. There will be only ease. Now I will speak about our origin. I speak very often about this primordial element. To begin, we are the clear, empty, pure element that is of the same essence as the entire universe. When impacted by something which initially was an explosion, dust particles combine to form stars, galaxies, this universe. There is a pure, elemental essence at the surface of this life element. When this pure essence receives an impact, it ripples with awareness and continues rippling to create meaning and value. This life element cannot understand things by itself. It needs a body, so it attaches to material elements. When it attaches to material elements, that material element begins to have life, like this body. If this body doesn't have the life element, let's see what happens if we remove the life element. This body would become just like a log. This body would decay. It would have no life. The heart would not beat. It would become a corpse. Now, when the life element resides in a vessel, in material elements, in one small piece of material element, it enters to reside. The life element, when residing in material elements, but it must be material elements that can split, expand, and have various cells ready to have life. When the life element enters to reside, it begins to have life, begins to feed, starting from the first animal, 1-cell animal, 2-cell animal, 3-cell animal, 4-cell animal, 5-cell animal. We started as the smallest animals from the very beginning. Then we eat each other, hate and anger, hate and anger, hate and anger. You eat me, right? Next time I'll eat you back. Whatever I'm born as next time, I will come to eat you. And when we eat them, they become angry at us again. Next time I'll come eat you back. Eating back and forth, hatred, vengeance, quarreling. Born to be involved with each other, eating each other, destroying each other, becoming brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, children, grandchildren, becoming enemies, entangled with each other like this. The vast spirit burst forth since the era of the first explosion. Our life elements burst forth vastly, life elements everywhere. Have we ever thought about where we originated from at the very beginning? And how many life elements do you think there are? Infinity. If we say these spirits or consciousness, they are infinity. Let me give you an analogy of how many grains of soil are there on this earth. Let's have a child's hand grab some soil. The soil that sticks to this child's hand represents the humans on this earth. Then how many grains of soil are there in the entire world? Infinity. This is like the life elements, an analogy. These life elements are waiting to be born, waiting for material elements to attach to and be born. Understand? Waiting for countless stars to be born so these life elements can attach and be born. The vast life elements from the beginning started learning various things from the day material elements emerged in emptiness. When material elements emerged everywhere, life elements began attaching to small materials, beginning to form the first animals, and then began eating each other, and developed expanding cells, growing larger continuously until the present. We changed bodies as aquatic animals, land animals, winged animals, whatever animals from the smallest to the largest. We have been everything. We have been human many times. We have been animals many times. We have been everything many cycles already until the present. The life element has resided in vessels, has been conditioned, has perceived, has learned from various things for countless cycles. Every time we were born as fish, as aquatic animals. Every time we were born as aquatic animals, we started learning anew, and then were eaten. And then were born as new aquatic animals, and learned anew, were eaten. And then we were born as land animals. This is an analogy. Born as land animals, started learning, finding food, were eaten, and then born again as animals, started finding food, and were eaten, became winged animals, started finding food, were eaten. Born to find food, to be troubled with the body, born to be deluded in the body, find food and die. Born to be deluded in the body, find food and die again the same way. And finally born as humans. Suppose we are born as humans, we start finding food to eat. Taught to think, to imagine, to remember, to find food. And what do we get? No matter how rich we die. No matter how poor, we die. No matter how well we study, how high our education, even with 8 million doctorates, we die. No matter how skilled, we die. No matter how poor, we die. No matter how rich, we die. Whether stupid or clever, born to die. Then we are born again. Every time we are born again, we are reset. Start learning anew until finally aging and dying. Reset, born again, start learning anew. It's like we're newly born every time, like it's our first birth, like we just understand that we've just been born. But no, we have resided in the vessel of bodies, changed so much, we have changed vessels so many times, and we start again. We are stuck in the cycle, spinning, spinning, spinning just like this. When will it end? When will we not return to birth again? Because to be born is to harm, kill, destroy each other, then die, then be born again. They destroy us, this time we destroy them back. Killing back and forth, eating back and forth, changing back and forth just like this. Because the life element wants to learn, born to remember. Today they hurt us, we hate them. Next life when I'm born, I'll destroy you back. When in this life we destroy them, they become angry at us, resent us. Next life born again to come hurt us back. Back and forth, becoming fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, coming to love each other, hate each other, be angry with each other. We are like being trapped in a world of cages, like being trapped in a world that's like a cage, that's like a game world, like a dream world, where we dream the same things over and over, dreaming the same things. Dreaming only of being born as various things, finding food and dying, being born as various things, finding food and dying. When will we stop being born? You know, we have the life element that is the primordial element, created everything. But we have become deluded in what we created. We are deluded in these manifestations, the manifestations that are perceiving now. We are deluded in these manifestations that are this voice, that we think constantly, deluded in the manifestations of thought, deluded in the manifestations of mental images, deluded in the manifestations of emotions, deluded in these manifestations of knowing. We believe these manifestations are ours. They are not ours. They are merely manifestations functioning by themselves. And we come to rely on the body again. We become deluded in the body again, thinking this is our body again. Even though this body is born to disintegrate, we still learn everything just to find food. It's being deluded in the same things, stuck in the same cycle, being the same. Every time we're born, we come to be the same. Until, fortunately, meeting my recording. Now there are many who have broken free from this same old cycle. Let's become one of them. You must realize your primordial element. Whoever realizes it will not return to birth, will not return to suffering again. We will not return to suffering anymore. This will be our last life. Everyone should share my recording for all to hear. Whoever realizes their own life element first will experience wonder, relief, utmost lightness, tears flowing, and we won't be able to hold back. We will tell everyone. We really won't be able to hold back because it's so profound. It's the one knowledge we've never known. We know everything external, we know it all. But we've never known something more precious than that. There is no knowledge, no subject that is more excellent or sublime than knowing the life element, which is the primordial element. We learn where this world came from, where this universe came from, know it all. Where oceans came from, where soil came from, where this animal came from, where our body came from. We learn completely where everything came from. And what about us? Where did our life element come from? Try to learn about it. It's not in textbooks for sure. Whoever realizes it will know all things. This has been explained clearly now. Therefore, our life element, the reason it comes to learn everything is because it is already a pure element. It doesn't know what everything is, and it doesn't know what itself is. So it created tools, like a clear energy that envelops itself. Like an analogy, our life element matter, at its edges, created surface tension, so it could ripple in perception and ripple into meaning. Ripple into this voice. This speaking voice is a rippling. This perceiving hearing of sound, perceiving, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. These manifestations of perception are rippling manifestations. When sound makes contact, it immediately ripples in perception. When smell makes contact, it ripples in perception. When images make contact, it ripples in perception. When food taste makes contact, bang, it perceives. When various temperatures, hot or cold, come in contact with, it ripples to perceive. The manifestation of perception is merely a manifestation. We are the clear life element, not related to manifestations. It's like if we are the water in the ocean, the contact at the water's surface is merely a manifestation, and waves that occur are merely manifestations. But we are not those manifestations. We are the clear water. This speaking voice is a manifestation. Mental images are also manifestations. Just observe. We just observe inside, seeing that voice thinking inside. It's not us. It thinks by itself. What's speaking in the mind speaks by itself. This knowing knows by itself. It thinks in images. It creates images by itself. And emotions arise. satisfaction, dissatisfaction, anger, hatred, happiness, sadness, neutrality, irritation, crying, suffering, sorrow. All these manifestations are merely rippling manifestations. No one owns them. Write it on paper and stick it up. This voice has no owner. Mental images, emotions have no owner. Happy emotions, suffering emotions have no owner. This perception here, no one knows. It knows by itself. Can you see? Now hearing my voice here, see? No need to intentionally hear sounds, it hears sounds by itself. Can you see? Observe carefully. If you can see that it truly knows by itself, and acceptance occurs too. When the pure element accepts, it will suddenly break free. A realization will arise that it's not us. It knows by itself. It speaks by itself. Mental images, emotions. It all functions by itself, completely. There is no us. And it will cry intensely. It will break free from being human. We will never suffer like that again. Why is there no suffering? Because nothing is us. It's like we've broken free. At first we were just playing a game. We were the game character we were playing. They slash us, so we hurt a lot. Slash us, we lose 50% energy. We're very angry. And this outfit we bought, our outfit is all torn up, so we're very angry. So we go buy a new outfit, and we go fight again. We manage to slash them sometimes, they slash us again. We're angry, we're very hurt. They slash us, we lose energy, we've wasted a lot of time. Then our mother comes, gives us a tap on the head. What are you so invested in? That's just a game. Sitting here, you have nothing to do with it. We were crying sadly, right? Mother taps us, we have nothing to do with this game. So why are we crying? Why are we suffering? The game is not us, but we misunderstood that we're the one in the game. It's like we understand these emotions to be our emotions, even though these emotions are not our emotions. This voice is not us. Mental images, emotions, this perception, none of it is us. But we get invested in it. Even this body is not our body. We are the life element, we're just temporarily residing here. Another analogy. The clear life element is like a bubble, let's say. Clear, empty, can blend with the infinite universe, created its own suit. The life element created a bubble to envelop itself. Once it created a bubble to envelop itself, like a suit, wearing a clear suit. Now once wearing this clear suit, when anything impacts the bubble, it can perceive already, right? Now without a body, it cannot process anything, cannot understand what impacts it. This life element, which envelopes itself with a bubble, therefore goes to reside in another suit, a body suit. Now there are two suits. Wear the first suit, which is the clear one that becomes manifestations, becomes voice, images, emotions, this knowing. Wearing this suit of manifestations. Then goes to wear the body suit next and gets a body. Whether it's a body of aquatic animals, winged animals, land animals or humans, by chance got a human body here wearing suits. Now it ripples inside. Our life element resides in these rippling manifestations of this bubble. Rippling, perceiving, learning everything. This voice then gives value and meaning that we are human. Even though this body doesn't speak, this voice gives meaning that we are human, and believes that we are truly human. We believe that we are human now. Now let's start again. The life element has never been born on this earth. The life element has no form. The life element has never been male, never been female, has no age, no first name, no last name. Came to mistakenly believe that we are human, deluded that we are male or female, deluded that we have age, deluded that we have first name, last name, and deluded that we have family too. Take it in. We have no form. We are the life element that wants to learn. But it has learned this way for millions of cycles already. Now let's come to learn about the life element. Whenever the life element comes to know itself, that itself is the pure element. This body is not itself. This voice, mental images, emotions, manifestation of knowing are not itself. When the life element realizes these things are not us, the life element will stop seeking new bodies. and will not return to birth again. On the day I came to learn within and realized my own life element, saw that these manifestations are not us, the life element gained realization and broke free. It's like we are the life element that is attached to manifestations, and attaching to manifestations isn't enough. It is also attached to the body. Actually, it is the primordial element that has mass energy, radiating energy into manifestations, and that manifestation energy then attaches to the body another time. It's like strands of energy inductively binding together, like hydrogen atoms combining with oxygen atoms, combining with carbon atoms, bonding completely, like tiny elements bonding together through molecular bonds. On the day when all those bonds disintegrate, when they break free from each other, that's the day we know the truth that we are the empty, clear, pure life element that blends into one essence with the universe. And it sees that it was deceived, sees the truth that we were never human, we were never born on this earth. This speaking voice is not us. It sees clearly that it's not us speaking. Even now it's not us speaking. See, mental images are not us. Emotions, the act of knowing, nothing at all is us. Now it's relieved, light, completely free, like we've broken free from the world and we will not return to birth. It knows everything completely. It knows we will not return to birth again until this body stops functioning. Whenever it stops functioning, it will not return to birth as aquatic animals, land animals, winged animals, or come as human again. It won't return again because it knows itself now, that itself is the life element that blends into one essence with the universe. The duty now is only to help all of us become free, to help all of us who are vast in numbers, all aquatic animals, winged animals, land animals, humans, or even life elements floating in various stars. We can help them all. When we reach this point, we can extend this understanding to all life elements inhabiting various vessels, existing in different states referred to as souls. We can help them all. We must come to recognize our primordial life element. To see this, we simply must not cling to this voice, whether it speaks internally or aloud. Just observe that this voice speaks on its own, think on its own, from the moment we wake up until we sleep. Whatever we do, we just observe. For example, when we wake up, we quickly rise to get ready for work. Do we notice the sense of urgency? Do we see that there is an urge to rush? When we wake up and realize we're late, do we hear it say, "It's late," and notice the panic and the rush? Do we see this reaction? It's not us. It's just a manifestation. The moment we truly see this, tears will fall. When we wake up, there is a sense that we are truly human. But we are not human. Observe this. As we wake up, at first there's a grogginess, no sense of self yet. Then it slowly starts to recognize, "Oh, I'm awake now." It begins to remember. Then it looks at the clock and reads the time, 6 a.m. It feels startled and assigns meaning and value to 6 a.m. Do you see that voice? It's late. Do you notice the exclamation from that voice? Then it becomes startled and rushes to get up. Do you observe the state of agitation and urgency? None of this is truly us. These are just manifestations. When we can observe these manifestations as they arise, we can break free immediately. Tears will fall. It's ready to break free at any moment. Now, as we rush to get up, tidy the bed and go to the bathroom, then stand in front of the mirror brushing our teeth and washing our face. At the moment when our hands scoop water to wash our face and the water touches our skin, we feel the wetness. Can you sense that it is simply feeling on its own? And then a thought arises. Will I make it on time? Do you notice that voice speaking internally? Will I make it on time? Can you see that thought? If we can observe this thought as it arises, we can ask, who is this? Understand clearly that this voice speaking or thinking internally is not us. It's thinking on its own. Recognize it and understand deeply that this voice is not who we are. The point is to realize that the voice speaking is not us. When the water touches our face and we feel the wetness and coolness, that feeling is happening on its own. Do you understand that this sensation is occurring by itself? If it's feeling on its own, then where are we in this? This is the key. If we understand that the sensation is happening by itself, then where is the self? At this point, something shifts, snap, and we break free completely. The life element will break free from all manifestations. When it breaks free, tears fall and we cry. At that point, going to work becomes irrelevant. It's an extraordinary moment, immense and profound. It feels light, weightless, and filled with an indescribable joy, not happiness, but something far beyond it. It is a new understanding, one that does not exist in the human world. Now I want to share something with you to expand on this. The life element is the most subtle essence, the primordial element. This emptiness, clear and pure, has a manifestation that envelops it, like the nucleus of an atom or a tiny speck of dust. At the center of this essence is the nucleus. Surrounding the core of this element are electrons, neutrons, and protons revolving around it. These revolving particles, the electrons, protons, and neutrons, are the manifestations. They generate energy, forming a mass of inductive energy. This is the manifestation. But we are the nucleus. Does this analogy help you understand better? We are the nucleus at the center, but there is energy revolving around it, a magnetic field with electrons, protons, and neutrons spinning around it. These are its manifestations. As these manifestations spin around the nucleus, they induce attachment to other elements. When these elements attach, they form shapes, which we call the body. Understand this. Our life element is the most subtle element within. It is surrounded by these manifestations. The voice we hear is a manifestation. The mental images we imagine are manifestations. Emotions are manifestations, and even the awareness itself is a manifestation revolving around our life element. This body, then, is just another layer, the outermost layer. The body is what envelops and contains our life element. It's like we are wearing two suits. The first suit is the energy mass that manifests around the life element. The second suit is the physical body, which further encloses us. On top of that, we build houses to shield ourselves, and we wear clothes to cover ourselves. All of this is to protect the life element. That's why we are so attached to ourselves, why we love our identity, and why we fear harm to ourselves. But in truth, we never truly are anything. The life element has never been anything. Another analogy. The life element is like a clear and empty essence present before us. Within this clear emptiness, air resides. Air exists within the clear and empty essence. When the air moves, it can turn into violent storms, destroying everything in its path. Yet it cannot affect the clear and empty essence. Do you understand this? The air may shift and transform, becoming strong winds, gentle breezes, or hurricanes. Whatever it becomes, it doesn't impact the clear and empty essence. Even if an atomic bomb is detonated, destroying everything, the clear and empty essence remains unaffected. Our life element has never been affected by anything. It has never been born, and it will never die. In truth, we have never truly existed in this world. What exists is only this voice that speaks. What exists are just the manifestations of awareness, perceiving on their own. Beyond that, nothing is us. There are only the manifestations that ripple as sound, as emotions, as perceptions. They continue their work on their own, constantly. But the life element is entirely unaffected and unrelated. Even if we were to detonate an atomic bomb that obliterates this body into tiny fragments, the life element would remain completely unaffected. When it no longer has this body, it simply seeks out another one, just as before. But why does it seek a new body? Why does this cycle of endless rebirth continue? What causes it? When will it ever stop? The reason the mind keeps being reborn endlessly, seeking one body after another, is rooted in its attachments. When one body dies, it seeks another. This body dies, and it finds another. Birth happens again and again, only to eat, sleep, and wake up. Then to eat, sleep, and wake again. Wake up to eat, search for food, and while doing so, engage in conflicts, anger, hatred, and destruction. After eating, it sleeps. Then it wakes again, searches for food, quarrels, hates, and destroys once more. And then it sleeps. Wakes up, searches for food. It's a never-ending loop. This cycle repeats endlessly, trapped in the same pattern, stuck in the wheel of existence, revolving around the same stories, seeking the same things. When I finally broke free, I thought, why were we so foolish? How could we have been so blind? It was overwhelming, a profound realization. I saw the ignorance within myself. What were we searching for in being born? It became clear, there is nothing that is truly us. What were we chasing? Why were we angry, hateful, and in conflict with one another? What were we doing? This realization struck deeply. It wants to tell everyone, don't be angry, don't hate, don't quarrel. Let's unite, create peace in the world, live together, and grow together. When we die, there will be no rebirth. Understand our life element. That's why I've made so many recordings. I plan to create 100 recordings, all focused solely on world peace. These are for everyone to listen to, regardless of religion, starting from childhood. I will create a large number of these recordings so that everyone in the world can use them as part of educational curriculums to teach all students and children. Once everyone understands, there will be no more suffering, no more harming or destroying one another, because nothing is truly us. While we still have this body, while we are alive and not yet dead, we must help one another escape from the endless cycle of existence. Together, we will stop harming and destroying one another. Understand this clearly. This world will only find peace through us. We must first understand the essence of our own life. Remember, no subject is more important than this. We must understand this before we learn any other subject in the world. Once we grasp this, we will understand all the knowledge in the world, and we will no longer suffer. We will not experience stress or depression. Nowadays, people suffer from stress and depression. Why? Because they do not understand the life element, the primordial element. They take everything too seriously, becoming angry with everything, stressed about everything, flowing along with emotions, with sounds, with images, with perceptions. They see everything as me and mine. Listen to my recordings. In reality, nothing is us. We have never truly existed in this world. This body is not ours. It is merely a temporary vessel for our life element. Even this voice is just energy vibrating on its own. It vibrates on its own. It's not our voice. It ripples as what we call sound, as mental images, as emotions. Whether those emotions are happiness or suffering, let them be. Don't cling to them. The awareness that exists, it knows on its own. Simply observe. If this awareness knows on its own, then where is the self? We just need to observe and understand. This will lead us to the life element. The life element seeks knowledge. What kind of knowledge? The life element seeks to know what it is and what everything else is. It seeks understanding. The method is simple. Listen to my recordings and understand. The key is just to understand. Understand that the voice speaking right now, the thoughts we constantly have, are not us. For example, we think, when will I finally pass the exam? I don't want to study anymore. I'm tired. I want to travel. Do you notice that voice? I want to go to the sea. I want to go to the mountains. Do you notice the voice speaking in your mind? Or, I don't want to wake up today, I just want to sleep. Do you see that voice? Now, as I open my mouth and speak each word, can you notice the voice? While you're thinking to yourself right now, Do you see the voice in your mind? If you observe the voice speaking and understand that it speaks on its own, you will come closer to the truth. Understand that this voice is speaking on its own. The life element seeks only understanding that penetrates deeply until it touches the core of our being. When this understanding reaches the heart of the life element, it awakens to the realization that we are pure essence. This voice is not us. The life element is merely residing. It resides within manifestations. It uses the voice, images, emotions, and perceptions as its tools. It has been lost in these manifestations for a very long time. But whenever the life element sees the truth and understands that these manifestations are not the life element, they are just manifestations, it will stop relying on them. The life element will break free from all these manifestations. When this happens, we will feel light, free, and unburdened. Tears will flow in wonder, and we will no longer suffer. Stress, anxiety, migraines, and depression will completely disappear. Stomach issues and many other ailments will improve or vanish entirely. This is the truth. If the life element no longer clings to the body, to the voice, to images, emotions, or perceptions, if it is no longer invested in these things, the life element will become radiant, clear, and filled with light. It's as if we awaken, filled with joy. The body becomes radiant, the mind becomes radiant, and everything is filled with joy. Illnesses that once afflicted us will completely heal. Stress will fade away. If we suffer from insomnia, we will sleep peacefully. Listen to my recordings. Those with insomnia will find restful sleep. There will be no more stress, no more anxiety, no more disorders of any kind. They will all disappear because the life element has awakened. When the life element awakens and is no longer attached to any manifestations, it becomes free. It transcends all manifestations and attains true freedom. This is liberation. When the life element breaks free from these manifestations, it is like shedding the bubble suit and the bodily suit. Once the life element no longer wears these suits, it stops clinging to the body suit and the bubble suit. When we let go of these two suits, we become the clear emptiness, merging as one with the universe. The life element seeks only understanding. This understanding has no meaning, no story, and no form. Yet this understanding is the knowledge of the life element, a knowledge that is beyond stories. It is subtler than the voice that speaks. Here's an analogy to make it clearer. The voice, this voice that speaks, is like the barking of a dog, the chirping of birds, the rustling of trees, the sound of the wind. It is a sound, isn't it? Like the rumbling of an earthquake or the explosion of a bomb. All of these are just sounds. These are coarse. Within the sound lies meaning, and meaning is subtler. This meaning is a manifestation. But the life element seeks something even subtler. It seeks understanding. Sound is coarse. Within the sound lies meaning, and meaning itself is subtle. The outermost layer is sound. A deeper layer is meaning. The life element uses this meaning to understand itself and everything else. However, meaning is not the life element, nor does the life element truly require it. But when we begin to understand, using the sound of my voice guiding you to this understanding, we can start to observe that this voice works on its own. If the voice speaks on its own, thinks on its own, then these thoughts are not ours. Understand this. See and realize that this voice is not us. Understand it deeply. See that mental images are not us. They arise on their own. See that emotions are not us. They have their own course and disappear on their own. Understand deeply that these emotions are not emotions, that the voice is not a voice, that mental images are not mental images, and that emotions are not emotions. Observe the manifestation of awareness itself. It knows on its own. Simply observe and understand that these manifestations are not us. It is because we become entangled with these manifestations that we suffer, that we experience turmoil, that we cling to everything. But when we see that these manifestations are not us, the attachment loosens, it lets go. Things become lighter, clearer, and the attachment dissolves. It loosens, it lets go. Observe the meaning of this voice. See how it thinks in the mind. See the meaning of the voice. Observe it and let it go. Don't hold on to it or cling to it. Understand that it is because we flow along with the meaning of the voice that we become invested in everything and suffer because of everything. We flow into the meaning of emotions, and so we suffer. We flow into the awareness of sensations and the meaning we attach to those sensations, and so we suffer. When we can observe these manifestations, how we become invested in them, it leads to an understanding. Why do we flow along with them? They are not us. When the life element sees this truth, when it truly understands that these manifestations perceive on their own, it gains clarity. For example, suppose a cat meows. The awareness of the sound arises. It hears the sound. Then an understanding emerges. It hears on its own. And from there, the question arises. If it hears on its own, then where is the self? This kind of knowledge, this kind of understanding, arises when we simply observe and comprehend that things happen on their own. It thinks on its own, feels emotions on its own, perceives on its own, manifests on its own, and fades away on its own. Anger arises on its own and then disappears on its own. Happiness arises on its own and then disappears on its own. Awareness perceives on its own and then fades away on its own. The voice that speaks and the thoughts that arise, they think on their own and then fade away on their own. There is no self in any of it. When this understanding sinks in, a profound realization arises within. This understanding, this knowledge, is subtler than meaning, deeper than meaning. It is pure understanding. Understanding has no story, no narrative. It is knowledge without meaning. The life element seeks this kind of subtlety. It seeks an understanding that goes beyond meaning. Meaning is still within the layer of manifestations, and this manifestation depends on meaning to exist. The life element seeks only an understanding deeper and subtler than meaning. It seeks to comprehend that it is the essence of emptiness, pure and clear, entirely unconnected to anything else. All manifestations are merely external layers. The layer of meaning belongs to the outermost surface. Sound, images, smells, tastes, and touches. They are all merely external shells. We are the innermost layer, the understanding itself. This understanding is without stories, without language, without anything. It is empty, clear, and unified with all things. It comes with the realization that nothing is truly us or ours. This body is not us. This voice speaking now is not us. Who is speaking? It's not us. What is the attachment to? Emotions are not anyone's emotions. They are merely manifestations. Observe emotions as they are, not as emotions, but simply as manifestations. See the awareness as it arises, not as awareness, but as something else. Observe the thoughts, not as thoughts, but as something else entirely, and realize that none of this is us. None of this belongs to us. Understand this deeply and know that there is no self. Set your goal clearly. Commit to listening to my recordings every day, often and repeatedly, until my voice resonates within your consciousness continuously. This understanding will arise naturally, and tears will fall. It won't take long. Listen often until my voice becomes part of your inner awareness. Then observe within yourself. Set your goal to truly understand that nothing is us. Align yourself with this voice and resolve not to foolishly cling to the voices you think are yours, to the thoughts, to the mental images, to the emotions, or to the sensations of awareness. All of these are merely manifestations, not us, not ours. Resolve to awaken to this truth. Set your intention firmly and remind yourself of this commitment. When we set our goal, our motivation will be full, and we will listen to my recordings regularly. Through listening, we will gradually understand, incline toward understanding, and direct our awareness inward. This understanding will deepen until all that remains is the realization that nothing is truly us. Then we will wonder, what have we been so attached to? We have never truly existed in this world. The life element has no parents, no children, no relatives. It is not male or female, has no gender, no age, no name, no surname. The life element has never been born into this world. What have we been so deluded about? There is nothing that is truly us. Tears will flow, and we will feel light, free, and completely unburdened. Simply understand deeply. Let this realization reach the core of your being and see the truth that nothing being spoken here is us. There is no self in any manifestation. There is no speaker, no listener, and even the voice itself is merely something arising. There is truly nothing, just emptiness, lightness, and freedom. This understanding will bring liberation, and we will no longer suffer. With this recording has reached its conclusion. May all of us awaken to this truth swiftly, instantaneously. May all beings realize this truth. From this moment on, I shall diligently listen to this Dharma and remain aware within. I will perceive thoughts, emotions, and awareness as natural phenomena, not as self or mine. I will refrain from clinging to any phenomena. I will be liberated from the cycle of birth and death. This lifetime will be my final birth. When I have realized the Dharma, I will guide my children, grandchildren, and acquaintances to cultivate mindfulness within themselves, remaining free from attachment to thoughts and emotions. I will carry out this practice until the end of my life as an offering to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.